All right. Let me just tell you one little story. When I was a bluegrass boy working for Bill Monroe, the banjo player was Lamar Greer. That was David's dad. And it's a great thrill to be playing with Son of Lamar. Well, when Lamar and I were bluegrass boys, Dave, I don't know if Lamar ever told you this, but we used to leave the Grand Ole Opry about midnight and head up north to Bean Blossom, Indiana, home of the Brown County Jamboree. Now, working for Bill Monroe, you had a few surprises in store for you, like, well, when it came time to drive the bus, you had to figure out which of the two wires hanging down below the dashboard made the spark that turned the engine over to get you on down there. Well, we finished the opera and headed up north. I drove all night. We pulled in around sunrise, and I looked up on the board up on the tobacco shed there at Bean Blossom and said, "Welcome to Bean Blossom, home of Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys." I looked again to make sure I wasn't just hallucinating, or was merely tired, or a victim of some advertising man's clever plan to catch my attention. And sure enough, it did say that. Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys. I didn't think that much more about it, but that day we got out there and it was time to start the show, and I'll tell you, it was hard going because we had to follow an opening act of two brothers, twin brothers actually, played a musical saw and a snare drum. And that's a hard act to follow, I guarantee you. But we get out there and Bill, of course, was knocking them dead. He was singing... Good morning, Captain. Good morning, Sean. And then he went right into Blue Moon of Kentucky, keep on shining. Then Bill looked over at me. He looked out at the audience and said, "Now, folks, we've got a good new bluegrass boy here today with us today here. He's a Yankee boy now, but he can pick a good guitar. Make him welcome now, Pete Rose." Thank you, Bill. What have you picked out for the folks today? I've made up I've written a brand new song in honor of my first show here at Bean Blossom. Bill is an intimidating figure sometimes, and I was at a loss for words and everything else. So I decided to make up this little song. He said, "Go right ahead now and sing it, Pete. Don't be afraid of them folks. They like you a lot." Well, here's this new song I wrote for my first show here at Bean Blossom. It kind of goes like this. Well, Bill Monroe at the Bluegrass Festival. 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 And he just kind of looked at me. And he walked over to me real quick, like with little steps. And he said right in my ear, he said, "Pete, Dad, what have you done now? Have you and the boys been up in the hayloft? That ain't no part of bluegrass music now, Pete. That ain't no part of nothing." That was my first Zen experience. No part of nothing. And he came over to me a little closer, and he whispered in my ear, he said, "Dad, you listen to this and don't you ever forget it, Pete Rose." And he sang a melody in my ear right there. It's a song that I wrote some words to, and it's a tune that I'm happy to say I wrote with Bill Monroe, and I'd like to do for you now, called "The Walls of Time." more.